Imagine a secret so explosive, it could shatter the illusion of a perfect family. A betrayal so deep, it leaves one woman fighting for her sanity, and another, a complete stranger, risking everything to expose the truth. This isn't just a story. It's a raw, unfiltered look into a world where power, wealth, and deception intertwine. Are you ready to see what happens when secrets spill and loyalties are tested? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more gripping tales. Who on earth is feeding my mother? The sharp, cutting voice of Ethan Blackwood froze the air in the quaint little bistro. Maya Reed looked up. Standing before her was a man clad entirely in black, with eyes as cold as steel, observing her with a mixture of surprise and outrage. "I'm Maya Reed," she replied, unfazed, gently wiping the corner of the elderly woman's lips. "I work here." Eleanor Blackwood smiled with that distant expression that appeared when the mental fog momentarily lifted. "Ethan, darling, you're here? Maya was just telling me about her grandmother in Yorkshire. She makes the same hearty stew your father adored." Ethan quickly assessed the situation. His mother, who should have been at the family estate under strict supervision, was sitting in a modest restaurant, being fed by an unknown waitress. "Unacceptable. By what authority do you take such liberties?" he demanded, ignoring his mother's disapproving glance. Maya straightened in her seat. She had the most intense green eyes Ethan had ever seen. "By the authority of basic human decency. Your mother couldn't hold the spoon today." The bluntness of her reply caught him off guard. In his world, no one spoke to him like that. Ever. "Ethan, sit with us?" Eleanor urged, patting the empty chair beside her. "Maya makes me laugh. It's been so long since I've truly laughed." It was true. Ethan couldn't remember the last time he'd heard his mother's genuine laughter. Since his father's death and the onset of her condition, Eleanor Blackwood had existed in a perpetual state of guarded melancholy. "Mrs. Blackwood has good days and bad days," Maya continued, not breaking eye contact with Ethan. "Today is a good one. And now you're an expert on my mother?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. "No, I just listened to her. Sometimes that's enough." Ethan clenched his jaw. There was something about this woman that deeply irritated him. Perhaps it was her lack of deference, or the way his mother seemed to instantly trust her. "Mother, we must go. Veronica is waiting for us to review the documents." "Documents?" Eleanor frowned. "I don't recall any documents. They're important. For the foundation," Ethan lied, extending his hand. Maya watched the exchange with suspicion. When Eleanor looked away, she leaned towards Ethan. "You shouldn't force her to take medication she doesn't want," she whispered. Ethan froze. "Excuse me?" "The pills in her purse." Maya discreetly pointed to a small silk pouch. "She asked me to hide them because they make her feel like a stranger in her own mind." Her exact words. Ethan looked at his mother, who was now humming distractedly while gazing out the window. Was it possible the medication was counterproductive? Or was it part of Veronica's plan? "You know nothing about our situation," he replied, his voice sharp. "I know enough to understand that something isn't right," Maya retorted, holding his gaze. "And I know you suspect it too." The sound of heels on the wooden floor interrupted the tension. Veronica Blackwood approached them with a perfectly calculated smile. "Here you are, Ethan. And Mother, what a surprise to find you here." Her gaze lingered on Maya, coldly evaluating her. "And who is this person?" "Maya Reed," Eleanor answered before anyone else. "She's an angel. She reminds me of myself when I was young." Veronica examined Maya from head to toe. Nothing about this girl in worn jeans and a simple shirt recalled the elegant Eleanor Blackwood of yesteryear. "How charming," she commented, her tone suggesting the opposite. "Maya must come for dinner tomorrow," Eleanor declared suddenly. "At the estate." A tense silence fell over the table. Maya visibly flushed. "Oh no, Mrs. Blackwood. It wouldn't be appropriate." "Nonsense," Eleanor interrupted. "We'll expect you at 8. Won't we, Ethan?" Ethan looked at his mother. He hadn't seen her this animated, this present in months. Then he looked at Maya, with her defiant posture and green eyes that seemed to read him like an open book. "Of course," he replied, surprising himself. "Maya is welcome in our home." Veronica narrowed her eyes, but her smile remained intact. "Perfect. I'll speak to her boss myself to ensure she has the night off." "That's not necessary," Maya began. "I insist." Veronica cut her off, pulling out her phone. "Who is the owner?" "Mr. Peterson," Maya replied, resigned. Veronica typed quickly. "Matter resolved. I'll send a car tomorrow at 7:30. As he helped his mother into her coat, Ethan noticed Maya staring at him. "Any problem?" he asked. "Several, actually," she replied, lowering her voice. "But the main one is, I think someone is using your mother's condition to manipulate her. And you should find out who." Ethan felt as if he'd been punched in the gut. It was exactly what he had begun to suspect. "We'll expect you tomorrow," he said, regaining his composure. "Don't be late." "I won't," she replied. "But come prepared to hear uncomfortable truths, Mr. Blackwood." "Ethan," he corrected, surprised again. "Call me Ethan." As he walked away with his mother and Veronica, he felt Maya's eyes fixed on his back. The sensation sent a shiver down his spine he couldn't identify. It's irritation, he told himself, just irritation. But the voice inside him, the one that always told the truth, whispered something else. It was interest. And it had been a long time since Ethan Blackwood felt interest in anything or anyone. Veronica, observing the scene from a few steps back, narrowed her eyes. She recognized that look in her brother, and she didn't like it at all. "Who is that girl really?" she murmured to herself as she pulled out her phone. "We need to find out. Fast." And secretly Eleanor Blackwood smiled. Against all appearances, there were days when her mind was clearer than anyone believed. And this was one of them. Maya, she thought. Maya is exactly what my son needs. The Blackwood estate loomed imposingly against the London skyline. Maya gazed at the structure from the car window Veronica had sent, wondering when her life had taken this absurd turn. "We've arrived, miss," the chauffeur announced, opening the door. Her borrowed heels echoed on the pavement as she walked toward the entrance. She had chosen a navy blue dress, the most formal item in her limited wardrobe, and pulled her hair back into a simple bun. The butler greeted her with a neutral expression. "This way, miss," he said. Maya followed him down a hallway adorned with artworks that probably cost more than she would earn in her entire life. She took a deep breath to calm her nerves. She didn't belong in this world, but she wouldn't apologize for existing in it either. The drawing room doors opened. Eleanor was the first to see her. "Maya, darling, how wonderful you came," she exclaimed, approaching to take her hands. "You look beautiful." In the background, Ethan was conversing with an older man. When he turned and saw her, his expression imperceptibly changed. "Miss Reed," he greeted formally. "Welcome." Veronica appeared beside him, champagne glass in hand. "The guest of honor has arrived," she commented with false sweetness. "Let me introduce you to everyone." The next half hour was a parade of aristocratic names and faces that looked at Maya with barely disguised curiosity. The last was a severe-looking, gray-haired man. "Dr. Thomas Miller, Mother's personal physician," Veronica explained. The doctor shook Maya's hand with excessive firmness. "Miss, a pleasure. Eleanor has told me so much about you." Something in his gaze alerted Maya. "Are you part of the team that prescribes her medication?" she asked directly. An awkward silence fell over the group. The doctor cleared his throat. "Mrs. Blackwood's health is a private matter, I'm afraid." "Of course," Veronica interjected. "Let's proceed to the dining room." The dining table, excessively long for the 6 diners, shimmered under a crystal chandelier. Maya was strategically placed between Ethan and the doctor. The first courses arrived in a synchronized ballet of waiters. "Tell us, Maya," Veronica began as she cut her foie gras. "Have you always been a waitress?" "No," Maya replied, unfazed. "I studied 2 years of literature at Oxford before I had to drop out." "Why did you drop out?" Eleanor asked with genuine interest. "Family circumstances," Maya replied vaguely. What kind of circumstances? Veronica pressed. Ethan noticed Maya's tense jaw. Not all families can afford the luxury of higher education, he interjected, surprising himself. Maya looked at him gratefully. Exactly. But I hope to resume my studies someday. Ambitious, Veronica commented. Though dreams are free, aren't they? Not as free as cruelty disguised as courtesy, Maya retorted with a smile. Ethan nearly choked on his wine. Eleanor laughed openly. I love this girl, the elderly woman declared. She has guts. The dinner continued amidst thinly disguised tensions. Eleanor recounted anecdotes from her youth with surprising lucidity. The doctor observed her with growing unease. I believe it's time for your medication, madam, he finally interrupted. I don't need pills tonight, Thomas, Eleanor replied. I insist. It's for your well-being. Maya noticed the exchange of glances between the doctor and Veronica. What medication exactly does she take? She quietly asked Ethan. Antipsychotics and mood stabilizers, he replied. For early-stage Alzheimer's. And they always make her seem absent. Ethan frowned. It's the side effect, according to the doctor. Curious? Maya murmured. Because tonight she's perfectly lucid. The butler brought dessert, while Eleanor finally agreed to take her pills. Ethan, Veronica called. Why don't you show our guest the library? I'm sure a literature student would appreciate it. It was an excuse to separate them, but Maya nodded enthusiastically. I'd love to. The library was impressive. 3 floors of shelves filled with first editions and invaluable manuscripts. Maya ran her fingers over the leather spines with reverence. You simply have everything, don't you? She murmured. Excuse me. Wealth, power, beauty, she enumerated. And yet your mother is sad. You know nothing about my family, Ethan replied, stepping dangerously close. I know something is wrong with your mother's medication, Maya insisted. It's deliberately dulling her. And what do you suggest? That my sister and her doctor conspire to keep my mother drugged? He asked sarcastically. Maya held his gaze. Exactly. Ethan moved closer, cornering her against the bookshelf. Why do you care so much? What do you want from us? Nothing, she replied, not backing down. Not everyone has ulterior motives, Ethan. The proximity between them became electric. Ethan could smell the simple perfume she wore, so different from the expensive scents he was used to. You're too direct for your own good, he murmured. And you're too blind to see what's happening right in front of you, she retorted. Something snapped in Ethan. Frustration, doubt, the inexplicable attraction he felt towards this woman. It all erupted in an uncontrollable impulse. He kissed her, a rough, furious kiss, laden with confusion. Their lips met in a clash of wills. Maya tensed in surprise, but didn't pull away. For an eternal second, she responded to the kiss with the same intensity. Then, she pushed him away with both hands. What on earth do you think you're doing? She gasped. Ethan recoiled, as surprised as she was by what had just happened. I'm sorry, he murmured, running a hand through his hair. Maya touched her fingers to her lips, still feeling the pressure of his. I'm not a toy to soothe your frustration, Ethan. It's not that. The door burst open. Veronica appeared in the doorway, her smile vanishing as she caught the tension in the room. Mother wants to say goodnight, she announced dryly. She's getting tired. Maya nodded, avoiding Ethan's gaze. Of course. I'll be leaving now. As she followed Veronica down the hallway, Maya felt she had just crossed a point of no return. Bidding Eleanor farewell, she noticed the elderly woman's lucidity beginning to fade again. The pills were taking effect. You'll come back, won't you? Eleanor whispered. Promise me. I promise, Maya replied. At the door, Ethan caught up to her. The car will take you home. Maya nodded coldly. Thank you for the evening. It was educational. About what happened? It shouldn't have happened. Their eyes met defiantly. But it did, he insisted. A mistake doesn't become right just because you acknowledge it. Ethan, she replied, getting into the car. Good night. As the vehicle drove away, Maya took a deep breath. Ethan's taste still lingered on her lips. A forbidden, dangerous taste. A taste both bitter and sweet. 3 days had passed since the dinner. Maya poured coffee into the regular customer's cup while trying to avoid thinking about that kiss. Impossible. The memory returned again and again, stealing her concentration. Are you all right? Pierre, her boss, asked. You've been distracted all week. Maya nodded, adjusting her apron. Just tired. The bell above the door jingled. Her heart leaped as she saw the tall, black-clad figure cross the threshold. Ethan Blackwood scanned the place until he located her. I need to speak with you, he announced without greeting. Pierre raised his eyebrows, impressed by the millionaire's presence in his humble establishment. Take a break, Maya. I'll handle things. Maya led Ethan to the small back patio, away from curious eyes. I didn't expect to see you here, she commented, crossing her arms. You didn't answer my calls. I'm not obligated to. Ethan exhaled impatiently. My mother asks about you. Constantly. Maya was surprised. She had thought Eleanor would quickly forget her. How is she? Worse, Ethan admitted. More absent. The doctor increased her dosage. Of course he did, Maya murmured, shaking her head. An uncomfortable silence settled between them. About what happened in the library, Ethan began. I'd rather not talk about it, Maya cut in. It was inappropriate. Inappropriate. Maya let out a dry laugh. You kissed the waitress in the family library. I think inappropriate is an understatement. Ethan visibly tensed. I don't see you as the waitress. No? How do you see me? Then, the question hung in the air as their gazes interlocked. As someone who sees through appearances, he finally replied. And that's unsettling. Maya hadn't expected such honesty. She looked away, unable to maintain the intensity of his gaze. I have a proposal, Ethan continued. A job. Excuse me? As my mother's companion at social events and daily activities. Generous compensation. Flexible hours. Maya blinked, stunned. You want to hire me? My mother respects you and trusts you inexplicably. What about Veronica? I doubt she'd approve of the idea. Ethan managed a tense smile. Veronica doesn't decide who I hire. Maya studied him carefully. There was something more behind this offer. What's your true intention? Ethan leaned closer, lowering his voice. I want you to observe. The medication, the doctor's behavior, Veronica's actions. Everything. You suspect your own sister. Let's just say I value an outside perspective. Maya considered the offer. The money would allow her to resume her studies, but getting involved with the Blackwoods meant entering a dangerous game. Why me? Because you're the only person who dared to question what everyone else blindly accepts. The sincerity in his words disarmed her. She took a deep breath, weighing her answer. I accept, but with one condition. What is it? That you never kiss me again, she stated firmly. Ever. Ethan felt an unexpected blow to his pride. No woman had ever set conditions for being near him. Deal, he replied dryly. Good. Good. They looked at each other in silence, the tension almost palpable between them. You start tomorrow, Ethan finally said. My chauffeur will pick you up at 9. With a brief nod, he left, leaving Maya wondering if she had just made the biggest mistake of her life. The following week passed in a whirlwind of activities. Maya accompanied Eleanor to art galleries, private concerts, and exclusive lunches. The elderly woman was remarkably more lucid in her presence, especially when she forgot to take her medication. Ethan observed the transformation with growing interest. During family dinners, mother and son conversed animatedly under Veronica's poisoned gaze. That afternoon, Eleanor insisted on visiting the botanical gardens. As they admired the orchids, Ethan approached Maya. She's improved considerably, he commented in a low voice. Because she's taking half the prescribed dose, Maya confessed. I hide the other pills. Alarm crossed Ethan's face. Is that dangerous? The doctor said. The doctor is wrong, Maya interrupted. Or he's lying. Your mother doesn't have advanced Alzheimer's. Does she have episodes of confusion? Yes. But the medication is worsening her condition, not improving it. Ethan paled. Are you sure? I've researched the drugs. The combination they're giving her would cause confusion and docility in any healthy person. The possibility that someone was deliberately harming his mother awakened a cold fury in Ethan. I need concrete proof before I act. I'm gathering it, Maya assured him. But we must be cautious. A cough interrupted them. Veronica appeared among the ferns, impeccable in her tailored suit. What a touching scene, she commented with false sweetness. The waitress and the air whispering secrets. We were talking about mother, Ethan replied coldly. Of course. Veronica turned to Maya. I wonder what our dear doctor would think about your alternative methods. A shiver ran down Maya's spine. Had she discovered them? I don't know what you're referring to, Maya replied firmly. Veronica smiled, a predator's smile. I need a moment alone with our employee, Ethan, administrative matters. Ethan hesitated, looking at Maya. I'll be fine, she assured him. When Ethan walked away, Veronica's expression changed completely. I'll be direct. Stay away from my family. I work for your brother, Maya replied, remaining calm. We both know your intentions go beyond that. You're not the first gold digger to try and trap Ethan, darling. I'm not interested in his money. Of course you're not. Veronica let out a crystalline laugh. You're interested in his heart, aren't you? How touching. And how predictable. Maya felt her cheeks burn, but she maintained her composure. My only interest is Eleanor's well-being. Now it's Eleanor. Veronica shook her head. You've inserted yourself quickly into our lives, almost as if you'd planned it. She took a step towards Maya, threateningly. I know you're kind, taking advantage of vulnerabilities, manipulating emotions, making yourselves indispensable. You're wrong about me. Am I? Veronica pulled an envelope from her purse. What if Ethan discovers your little secret? Maya's heart stopped. Impossible. No one knew that part of her life. I don't know what you're talking about, she managed to articulate. Marilena Reed, Veronica recited, reading from a document. Daughter of Sarah Reed, alcoholic and occasional prostitute, arrested at 17 for theft. Charges dropped, but the record is still there. Maya paled. The past she had worked so hard to bury. That was a long time ago. Do you think Ethan will care? A Blackwood doesn't associate with criminals, darling. His reputation is too valuable. Veronica put the documents away. You have two options. You resign right now and disappear from our lives. Or tomorrow, all of London's high society will know your sordid story, including my brother. Maya felt the world crumble around her. Not because of the threat, but because she knew Veronica was right. Someone like Ethan would never understand her past. I won't abandon Eleanor, she replied, her voice trembling. Veronica smiled triumphantly. Then you've chosen destruction. How noble. And how stupid. She walked away elegantly, leaving Maya paralyzed among the exotic flowers. In the distance, Ethan watched her, completely oblivious to the storm brewing. Blackwood Tech's headquarters occupied an ultra-modern skyscraper in the city. Ethan was reviewing documents in his office when his assistant announced an unexpected visit. Your sister insists on seeing you, sir. Veronica entered without waiting for a reply, closing the door behind her. We need to talk about your new employee. Ethan put the papers down on the desk. What about her? Have you checked her background? Or did you just hire a stranger to take care of our mother based on a hunch? Something in her tone set off Ethan's alarms. What exactly are you implying? Veronica pulled an envelope from her briefcase and placed it on the desk. Marilena Reed, her real name, daughter of an alcoholic prostitute, juvenile record for shoplifting. Dropped out of university without explanation. Has changed residence 5 times in 3 years. Ethan opened the envelope. Photographs of a teenage Maya, police reports, medical records. How did you get this? That doesn't matter. Veronica leaned forward. What's relevant is that you've allowed a criminal to get close to Mother. Ethan studied the documents, processing the information. A part of him felt betrayed. Another recognized the desperation in young Maya's eyes. Everyone makes mistakes, he murmured. Mistakes. Veronica slammed the desk. This woman is manipulating us. She's gained Mother's trust. She's interfering with her treatment. And you. She stopped, staring at him. My God, you're infatuated with her. Ethan maintained his impassive expression. You're exaggerating. And you're blind. That woman has an agenda. What is it, according to you? Veronica straightened, smoothing her skirt. Access, influence, maybe even a share of the family fortune. Ethan remained silent, evaluating the situation. Maya's past explained many things. Her fierce independence, her distrust of authority, her shrewdness about manipulation. I'll investigate this personally, he finally decided. Veronica smiled with satisfaction. Meanwhile, you should consider her immediate dismissal. I won't make hasty decisions. You always protect others, Ethan, Veronica sighed. Who protects you? When his sister left, Ethan remained still, contemplating the photographs. A younger, more vulnerable Maya with eyes that had seen too much. Why hadn't she told him the truth? The Grand Palace glowed under the night lights. The Blackwood Foundation's annual charity reception gathered London's elite. Eleanor had insisted on attending, with Maya as her companion. This dress suits you wonderfully, the elderly woman commented, admiring the pearl gray gown Maya had borrowed. It's too much, she replied, uncomfortable with the elegance of the outfit. Nonsense. You should see yourself through my eyes. Ethan waited for them at the entrance, imposing in his black tuxedo. His gaze swept over Maya slowly, lingering on the subtle neckline. You both look beautiful, he greeted, kissing his mother's cheek. Maya only offered him a distant nod. She had avoided being alone with him since Veronica's visit. The evening passed amidst champagne and superficial conversations. Eleanor enjoyed introducing Maya as my dear friend, ignoring the curious glances it provoked. During the charity auction, Ethan approached unexpectedly. Dance with me, he requested, extending his hand. It wasn't a question. Maya looked at Eleanor, who nodded enthusiastically. Go on, dear. Enjoy. On the dance floor, Ethan guided her with calculated precision, maintaining the professional distance their agreement demanded. You've been avoiding me, Maya observed as they twirled to the orchestra's rhythm. I've been busy. You're a bad liar for a businessman. Ethan's fingers tightened slightly on her waist. I'm a bad liar? Interesting accusation coming from you, Marilena. Maya froze, momentarily losing her step. How? You thought I'd never find out, he whispered, pulling her closer than necessary. The shoplifting? Your mother? The dropped charges. Panic flooded her face. Ethan felt a pang of guilt as he noticed the fear in her eyes. I was going to tell you, she murmured. When? After you gained my family's complete trust. Maya tried to pull away, but he held her. We'll finish this dance, he ordered in a soft but firm voice. We won't cause a scene. They continued to move mechanically, false smiles masking the storm between them. I'm not who you think I am, Maya finally murmured. Apparently, you're not who you said you were. My name is Maya Reed. I only omitted Mari, because it reminds me of a life I want to forget. And the rest? Did you omit that for convenience too? Tears threatened to form in her eyes, but Maya held them back with dignity. Judging me without knowing my story. Typical of someone who's had everything. The music ended. Maya elegantly separated from his arms, bowing her head slightly. Thank you for the dance, Mr. Blackwood. She walked away through the crowd, leaving him motionless in the middle of the dance floor. Ethan felt a hand on his shoulder. Trouble in paradise? Veronica asked, appearing beside him. Not now, he replied dryly. It never is. His sister smiled. But sooner or later you'll have to face the truth. That woman isn't who she pretends to be. Across the ballroom, Eleanor chatted animatedly with Dr. Miller. Maya watched them from a prudent distance, noticing how the doctor insisted the elderly woman drink from her glass. Something didn't fit. Maya discreetly approached, catching fragments of the conversation. "Just one more sip, Eleanor," the doctor insisted. "It will help with the anxiety." "I don't feel anxious, Thomas," Eleanor protested. "I feel splendid tonight. Precisely why we must maintain the medication. It's working." Maya noticed a slight tremor in the doctor's hands. Anxiety? Fear? She remembered the pills she had been hiding. If she stopped taking them completely, a plan began to form in her mind. Risky but necessary. Ethan watched her from afar, torn between distrust and the strange attraction he felt towards her. At that moment, Maya turned and their gazes met across the room. She didn't look away. She silently challenged him, as she always did. The presenter's announcement broke the connection. "Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to present our hostess, Mrs. Eleanor Blackwood." Applause resonated as Eleanor stepped onto the small stage. Ethan noticed his mother moving with unusual confidence. "Thank you all for your generosity tonight," Eleanor began. "As you know, this foundation was my late husband's dream, a dream I now share with my children, especially with my dear Maya, who has reminded me that even in darkness, we can find our own light." A murmur swept through the audience. Ethan saw Veronica visibly tense. "Maya?" someone whispered nearby. "Who is Maya?" Eleanor smiled, pointing to the young woman. "My savior. The woman who discovered they were slowly poisoning me with unnecessary medication." Dr. Miller paled. Veronica dropped her glass, which shattered into 1,000 pieces on the marble, and at that precise moment, the mask completely cracked. The scandal exploded like a grenade in the heart of London's high society. Sensational headlines, rampant rumors. Blackwood heiress publicly accuses doctor of poisoning. Family crisis in tech dynasty. Ethan gazed at the city from his office window. 48 hours since the gala, and chaos was just beginning. His phone vibrated. Another message from Veronica demanding an urgent meeting. He ignored it. The door opened without warning. Dr. Thomas Miller entered, pale and disheveled. "I demand to speak with you," the doctor snapped. Ethan slowly turned. "I don't recall authorizing your entry. My mother has publicly defamed me." The doctor trembled. 30 years of a career destroyed by an absurd accusation. Absurd? Toxicological analyses suggest otherwise. Miller's face fell apart. Analyses? What analyses? "The ones I secretly ordered 3 weeks ago," when Maya's suspicions began to make sense. Ethan pulled a file from his desk. Elevated levels of benzodiazepines, excessive doses of antipsychotics for a patient with mild symptoms. "Curious protocol, doctor. I followed the established guidelines for her condition." "What condition exactly?" Ethan approached. "Because 3 independent specialists have reviewed the case. None would diagnose advanced Alzheimer's." Miller backed away, hitting the wall. "Your sister approved the treatment. Veronica has medical authority over our mother, and power of attorney since your father." The pieces clicked into place with painful clarity. Ethan felt sick to his stomach. "I want your official resignation on my desk today," he said, his voice devoid of emotion. "Or the lawyers will handle it tomorrow." When the doctor left, Ethan remained motionless, digesting the betrayal. His phone vibrated again, this time a message from his assistant. "Miss Reed tried to contact you. Says it's urgent. Maya." Since the night of the gala, she had disappeared. Ethan called security. "I need to locate Maya Reed. Now." The streets of the Latin Quarter remained deserted under the morning rain. Maya finished packing her few belongings. The small apartment, now empty, echoed with every step. A knock on the door startled her. "Who is it?" "Pierre. Your boss." "Ex-boss." She opened it cautiously. The restaurant owner looked at her with an indecipherable expression. You're all over the papers, he said, showing her the headline on his phone. Mysterious employee unmasks family plot. Maya sighed, inviting him in. It's not how they're painting it. It never is. Pierre looked at her suitcases. Are you running? I'm getting away from an impossible situation. The Blackwoods are looking for you. The son specifically. He's been to the restaurant 3 times. Maya bit her lip. Ethan. Furious, regretful, impossible to know. I can't face him now. Why not? Pierre stared at her. Old Mrs. Blackwood is defending you tooth and nail in every interview. They say she's regained her lucidity completely. Precisely because of that, Maya closed her suitcase. I've caused enough chaos in that family. Pierre shook his head. Cowardice. I didn't take you for that. It's not cowardice, she protested. It's survival. Call it what you want. He walked to the door. But running away never fixed anything. When he left, Maya collapsed onto the empty bed. Her phone rang for the umpteenth time. Eleanor, the only one whose calls she had answered. How are you? She asked when she answered. Better than in years, dear. Eleanor's voice sounded rejuvenated. But worried about you. Ethan is desperately looking for you. I need time, Eleanor. Time is precisely what we don't have. The elderly woman lowered her voice. Veronica has called a family council. She's planning something. What can she do now? Everything's exposed. Not everything, dear. Eleanor sounded uneasy. There are documents. About the company. About decisions she made while Ethan trusted her. Maya felt a chill. You must tell Ethan. I've tried. But he's obsessed with finding you. A sharp knock interrupted the conversation. Someone was pounding on the front door. Maya Reed? Blackwood Security. We have orders to escort you. Panic flooded her. I have to go, Eleanor, she whispered. Wait, there's something you need to know. Ethan? No. Maya hung up, slipping out the back window onto the fire escape. The rain soaked her clothes as she descended hurriedly. When she reached the street, a black car blocked her escape. Ethan got out, instantly drenched. Enough, he declared, approaching. Stop running. Maya backed away. Stay away from me. Not until we talk. About what? My past? My lies? She yelled over the sound of the rain. Or would you prefer to discuss how I ruined your family's reputation? Ethan closed the distance between them. About why you left without explanation. Your distrust was explanation enough. They looked at each other, drenched and exhausted. Veronica used Miller to keep our mother sedated, Ethan revealed, while she manipulated the company's shares. Maya blinked, confused. You found out. Thanks to you, he admitted. I never would have investigated without your suspicions. The rain fell harder between them. Why didn't you tell me about your past? He finally asked. Maya looked away. Everyone deserves to reinvent themselves, Ethan. More than anyone, you should understand that. What does that mean? You were born the son of a tech genius. You reinvented yourself as the cold, calculating executive after his death. You create masks to survive just like me. The words struck with painful accuracy. We're not so different, she continued. We both hide our wounds. Ethan absorbed the truth of her words. Water ran down his face, mixing with what might have been tears. Come with me, he pleaded, extending his hand. Eleanor needs you. And you? The question escaped her lips without permission. Ethan remained still, fighting the urge to deny the obvious. Me too, he finally admitted. Maya studied his face, looking for lies, calculation, manipulation. She found only raw vulnerability. I can't go back to your world, Ethan. I don't belong there. My world is shattered, he confessed. Nothing is as I thought. My sister, my mother, the company. Everything is in pieces. He took another step, eliminating the distance between them. The only point of clarity in this chaos has been you. The sincerity in his voice disarmed Maya's defenses. She allowed her fingers to intertwine with his. All right, she agreed. but with one condition. What? No more secrets. Neither yours nor mine. Ethan nodded solemnly. Together they walked to the car, letting the rain wash away the past. As the vehicle drove away, Maya didn't see the figure watching them from the shadows. Veronica Blackwood put her phone away with a sinister smile. "Enjoy your moment, Marilena," she murmured. "It won't last." The estate was surprisingly silent when they arrived. Ethan led Maya to the study, where a fire crackled in the fireplace. "Where's Eleanor?" Maya asked, accepting the towel he offered. "In her room, resting," Ethan replied, pouring 2 glasses of brandy. "She wanted to wait up for you, but the new doctor insisted she needed rest." New doctor? A geriatric specialist with no connection to Veronica. Maya nodded in relief. She approached the fire, trying to dry her soaked clothes. "What happens now?" Ethan contemplated the amber liquid in his glass. "Complete restructuring. The board of directors has temporarily suspended Veronica." "I'm sorry," Maya murmured. "I know. Despite everything, she's your sister. Sometimes the family we choose is more loyal than blood." Their gazes met over the flames. Ethan put down his glass and approached. "About our previous agreement?" "Which one?" she asked with a slight smile. "The one that forbade this." With delicacy, he cupped her face in his hands and kissed her. A kiss different from the first. No rage, no confusion, only certainty. Maya responded instinctively, letting the warmth of the fire and his own dispel the cold of the rain and fear. When they parted, a familiar voice startled them. "I'm sorry to interrupt," Eleanor smiled from the doorway, "but we have problems." "What's wrong?" Ethan asked, not letting go of Maya's hand. "Your sister has disappeared," the elderly woman replied. "And I will too soon." She extended a note towards them. "Mother will accompany me on a small trip. Do not try to follow us." "What?" Ethan paled. "Impossible. You were here a moment ago." "That's not me, son." Eleanor pointed to the window where a figure identical to her crossed the garden towards a car. "It's an actress hired by your sister to buy time." At that instant, Ethan's phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number. "If you want to see our mother again, come alone. If you alert anyone, I'll know." The attached coordinates pointed to a remote property in the countryside. "My God," Maya murmured. "She's going to use her as leverage." Ethan put his phone away, his face transforming into a mask of determination. "Not if I find her first." The storm raged as Ethan's Aston Martin devoured the road towards the Scottish Highlands. Beside him, Maya consulted the map on her phone. "You said you'd come alone," she reminded him. "It's a trap." "Precisely why you're not coming with me," Ethan replied, speeding around a dangerous curve. "I'll drop you off in the nearby village. Don't even dream of it. It's not negotiable. Neither is my decision to accompany you." Maya put her phone away. "Veronica hates me. I'm the only possible distraction while you rescue Eleanor." Ethan gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles whitened. "I won't put you in danger." "I'm already in danger. We all are." The rain lashed violently against the windshield when they spotted the old Blackwood property, an abandoned country house since Ethan's grandfather's death. "I know this place," he murmured. "We used to play here in the summer, when we were kids." They parked among the trees out of sight. "The plan is simple," Ethan explained. "I'll circle the house. You stay here." Maya ignored his instruction, getting out of the vehicle into the torrential rain. "I'll go through the back door," she said, instantly soaked. "Veronica will expect you to come through the front, as you always do." Ethan took her arm. "How do you know that?" "Because she watches you like I do. She knows your patterns." Ethan's gaze softened momentarily. "You're terrifyingly perceptive. Only with those I care about." They separated in the downpour, advancing along different paths towards the house. Ethan circled the structure, remembering forgotten passages from his childhood. Maya slipped through the abandoned kitchen. The echo of female voices guided her to the main living room. Eleanor was sitting by the fire, seemingly calm. Veronica paced nervously nearby, phone in hand. He should be here by now, Veronica murmured. My son has always been cautious, Eleanor replied with unsettling serenity. Except when he trusted you. Maya advanced silently, hiding behind a column. She had to distract Veronica so Ethan could approach Eleanor. She took a deep breath and entered the living room. Private family meeting, I presume? Veronica turned, momentarily surprised. Then she smiled. The guest of honor. How thoughtful of you to save me the trouble of finding you. Let her go, Veronica, Maya ordered, pointing to Eleanor. Your problem is with me. Veronica pulled something from her pocket. A small revolver. My problem is with anyone who threatens what belongs to me. She aimed the weapon at Maya. The company, the fortune, my brother. Eleanor tried to stand up. Enough, Veronica. This madness must end. Madness? Veronica's voice cracked. Do you know what madness is? Dedicating your life to preserving the family legacy while everyone else destroys it. Father with his stupid donations. Ethan with his lack of ambition. You with your weakness. As Veronica vented years of resentment, Maya saw Ethan slip through a side door, cautiously approaching his mother. And what did you plan to achieve by controlling Eleanor? Maya asked, keeping Veronica's attention. Absolute control, Veronica replied. With her signature and Ethan distracted managing, I would make the real decisions. I would expand the empire, take it where it should be. Manipulating your own mother, protecting her, Veronica yelled. From her own absurd decisions. From people like you who only seek to take advantage. Ethan had reached Eleanor and was silently helping her up. I'm not after the Blackwood money, Maya replied, slowly advancing to keep Veronica's attention. Please, Veronica scoffed. Do you expect me to believe you genuinely fell in love with my brother? The ice block? The man who hasn't felt a real emotion since our father died. You don't know your brother, Maya retorted. You haven't even tried. Ethan froze at these words, holding his mother. I know him better than anyone, Veronica insisted, waving the gun. We are the same, calculating, cold, determined. Except he still has a heart. Veronica smiled bitterly. How romantic, and how naive you are. A deafening thunder shook the house. The lights flickered. In that instant, Ethan pushed Eleanor towards the exit. Veronica turned, pointing towards them. Stop! Maya took advantage of the distraction to lunge at her. Both fell to the floor in a desperate struggle. The revolver fired. The sound of the gunshot echoed through the house. Ethan stopped, horrified. Maya! The silence that followed was more terrifying than the shot itself. Then movement. Maya slowly got up, pale but unharmed. The shot had hit the ceiling. Veronica lay motionless, having hit the corner of the marble table during the fall. Call an ambulance, Maya ordered, kneeling beside the unconscious Veronica. She's still breathing. Hours later, the rain had stopped. Maya gazed at the sunrise from the hospital window, a coffee cup in her trembling hands. Ethan appeared beside her, exhausted after hours of police paperwork. Severe concussion, but she'll recover, he informed her. She's confessed everything. The medication manipulation, the embezzlement, the forgery of mother's signature. What will happen to her? Psychiatric treatment, then probably trial. Silence settled between them, a silence laden with unspoken questions. Is it true? Ethan finally asked. What part? What you said about me not knowing her. About me still having a heart. Maya put down her cup, facing him directly. Veronica only saw what you wanted to show, the mask you created to survive the pain. And you see beyond that? I always have, she replied simply. It's my gift. And my curse. Ethan closed the distance between them. And what you said about not being after the money, it never mattered to me. What matters to you then? Maya took a deep breath, exposing her truth. You matter to me, your mother, the way you fight your own nature, the vulnerability you hide, your fierce loyalty. Ethan cupped her face in his hands, as if contemplating an invaluable work of art. No one had truly seen me, he confessed. Not until you. The kiss they shared contained all the truth they had been hiding. No pretenses, no calculations, just the authenticity they had both desperately sought. When they parted, Eleanor's voice surprised them. Finally, the elderly woman smiled from the doorway. I thought I'd have to orchestrate another kidnapping for you two to admit the obvious. Ethan didn't let go of Maya's hand as they approached Eleanor. How do you feel, mother? As if a fog has been lifted from my mind, she replied, embracing them both. And as if I've just gained a daughter. Maya, for the first time in a long time, allowed tears to flow freely. I don't know what will happen now, she admitted. Ethan kissed her forehead with unusual tenderness. We'll figure it out together. Eleanor smiled wisely. Bitter and sweet, she murmured. Like the best chocolate. Like life itself. 6 weeks after the incident, Blackwood Tech headquarters buzzed with activity. Ethan presided over the extraordinary board meeting, unperturbed by the expectant glances. The results are clear, he concluded, closing his presentation. The restructuring has stabilized our shares. The scandal, surprisingly, has improved our public image. A veteran board member cleared his throat. And what about Veronica's situation? My sister remains under medical supervision, Ethan replied in a neutral tone. She has voluntarily resigned from her shares and executive positions. The truth was more complex. Following a diagnosis of severe narcissistic personality disorder, Veronica had accepted an agreement, psychiatric treatment in exchange for avoiding criminal charges, a solution that protected both her and the family's reputation. Any additional questions? The silence confirmed his control over the situation. Ethan had emerged from the crisis with renewed authority and, paradoxically, with a humanity his employees were beginning to appreciate. As he left the boardroom, his assistant handed him an envelope. It arrived this morning, sir. From Oxford University. Ethan put it in his pocket. It was the third university to respond to the scholarship application he had secretly arranged. As he drove towards the little province, he reflected on the transformations of the past few weeks. Eleanor flourished, finally free from unnecessary medication. The family foundation prospered under her renewed supervision, and he had changed in ways he didn't yet fully comprehend. The bistro looked different. Subtle renovations, improved lighting, fresh flowers, a piano in the corner. Ethan smiled. Eleanor had insisted on becoming a silent partner to preserve her favorite place. Maya supervised the new waiters, elegant in her simplicity. Her position had evolved from waitress to manager, though Ethan suspected it was a temporary transition. Mr. Blackwood, Pierre greeted with growing familiarity. Your table is ready. Thank you. Has my mother arrived? 10 minutes ago, with her friends from the bridge club. Ethan walked among the tables, noticing how Maya discreetly watched him. They kept their relationship out of the public eye by mutual agreement. Eleanor was radiant, surrounded by friends who had returned to her life after years of forced absence. Ethan, she exclaimed upon seeing him. We were just talking about you. Favorably, I hope, he replied, kissing her cheek. Of course. One of the elderly women winked at him. Your mother says you've finally found someone who can tolerate you. Ethan feigned indignation as the ladies laughed. Eleanor seemed rejuvenated, her mind clear and her spirit uplifted. Could I steal a moment? He asked his mother. He led her to a secluded table, pulling out the envelope. The response from Oxford arrived. Eleanor eagerly opened it. Accepted. With a full scholarship, she read, thrilled. Maya can finish her studies. It's accepted, Ethan clarified. You know how proud she is. Nonsense. This isn't charity, it's justice. Her intelligence deserves this opportunity. Ethan nodded, though he shared her concern. Since the incident, Maya had maintained fierce independence, rejecting any gesture that could be interpreted as compensation or, worse yet, pity. There's something else I wanted to ask you, he added, pulling out a small velvet box. Do you think it's too soon? Eleanor examined the ring with contained tears. sapphire and platinum, elegant without being ostentatious. It was your grandmother's, she recalled. The only Blackwood who had a happy marriage, Ethan confirmed. It seemed appropriate. Eleanor closed the box, returning it to him. Time is never relevant when the feeling is true, she replied wisely. The real question is, are you prepared to change your life for her? Ethan put the ring away, considering the depth of the question. She already has. Changed me, then you know the answer. As Eleanor returned to her friends, Ethan remained absorbed in his thoughts. His phone vibrated. A message from the psychiatric clinic. Veronica wishes to see you. Only you. He frowned. He hadn't spoken to his sister since the incident. Was he prepared to face her? Maya appeared beside him, as if she had sensed his unease. Bad news? She asked softly. Veronica wants to see me. Maya tensed imperceptibly. Will you go? Eventually, I'll have to. They looked at each other, communicating without words. I'll go with you, Maya offered. If you want. Ethan felt a wave of gratitude. Before, he would have faced every crisis alone, convinced that vulnerability equated to weakness. Why would you, after everything she did to you? Because I love you, she replied with devastating simplicity. And because I understand the pain of feeling betrayed by your own blood. The raw honesty of her response completely disarmed him. Ethan stood up, taking her hand. I need to show you something. He led her to his car, driving in silence until they reached the Père Lachaise cemetery. They walked among centuries-old tombs until they stopped in front of a marble mausoleum. My father, Ethan explained. I've never brought you here. Maya stood respectfully beside him as he contemplated the tombstone. I always tried to be what he expected, he confessed. The perfect heir, the brilliant strategist, the son who never showed weakness. He touched the cold marble with trembling fingers. But I forgot the most important thing he taught me. What was it? Maya asked softly. That without love, success is just an accumulation of empty things. His voice cracked slightly. He loved my mother deeply. I thought that capacity had died with him. He turned to her, more vulnerable than ever before. Until you appeared. Stubborn, defiant, terrifyingly perceptive. Maya smiled through contained tears. I didn't do anything extraordinary. I just saw you as you are. And that's the greatest gift anyone has ever given me. Without premeditation, Ethan knelt. He hadn't planned this moment, but suddenly it seemed perfectly fitting. Marilena Reed. He spoke her full name for the first time without judgment. I can't offer you a perfect life. I'm stubborn, sometimes cold, and I have a long way to go to be worthy of you. He pulled out the velvet box. But I promise you this. I will never stop trying, improving, loving you exactly as you are, without trying to change you. Maya gazed at the ring, overwhelmed. Ethan, don't answer now, he added quickly. There's more. He handed her the Oxford University envelope. You've been accepted. Full scholarship, no conditions or obligations. Maya read the letter with trembling hands. How? Your own merit, he assured her. Your talent and determination. I only facilitated your application being considered. Maya alternated her gaze between the ring and the letter, understanding the magnitude of what he was offering. Not just a future together, but her freedom to grow independently. This is your choice, Maya, Ethan concluded. Whatever it is, I will respect it. Maya closed her eyes briefly. When she opened them, her decision was made. I choose you, she replied, taking the ring. And I also choose my studies, my independence, my future, everything. Is it possible to choose everything? With you? I think so, he responded, allowing her to slide the ring onto her finger. Isn't that what true love means? Not having to give up yourself. They kissed under the protective shadow of generations of Blackwoods, sealing a pact that transcended the conventions of their disparate worlds. Days later, Maya officially reopened the little province as its new manager. Eleanor had insisted on celebrating with a small party. Ethan watched her from a distance, admiring her natural ability to connect with everyone, from regular customers to company executives. She wasn't trying to fit into his world. She was simply expanding her own, effortlessly including him. Eleanor approached, holding 2 champagne glasses. "Father would have loved this," she commented, offering him one. "He always said you needed someone to challenge your certainties." Ethan smiled, accepting the glass. "Do you think we'll make it?" "You already have, dear," Eleanor replied. "You've both chosen the harder path, to love each other exactly as you are." Maya approached, radiant. Ethan extended his hand to her. "Ready for our next battle?" he asked, referring to the scheduled visit to Veronica. "With you always," she replied, intertwining their fingers. "Bitter or sweet?" Ethan looked into her eyes, finally recognizing the truth he had tried to deny since their first encounter. "Bittersweet," he murmured against her lips. "Just like you." If you enjoyed the story of Ethan and Maya, share it with someone you think would also love it. Don't forget to comment below and tell us what your favorite part was. We'll see you in the next story.